if you are going to clap back at somebody, you cannot get mad when they return fire in the exact same line. You talk about my mom, I'm gonna talk about yours. You talk about my man, I'm gonna talk about yours. You talk about my body, come on y'all, say it with me. Even Drew, come on, get in on the sing-along. I'm gonna talk about yours. Please know that I'm going to do a review on Marlo's Speak On It, and I'm gonna tie it into this review. So watch this review. It's up part 2 of The Housewives. It's as much information as we can get, but then come back later, because when Marlo actually drops the tea, we're gonna drop all this shit together and see who's lying, we already know who's lying. Well, let me not say that, right? We're gonna drop it together, see who's lying, see who's telling the truth, and tie it all together. So make sure y'all tune back in for when we do the review for Marlo, and a lot of stuff that we were talking about with Porsha, with Kandi, and a lot of backstory I'm talking about. If you want to take an even deeper dive, because this video, I didn't want to make it a 2-hour video. If you want to take an even deeper dive, go on over and I have a video on Porsha exposing herself, Kandi exposing Porsha, and also what all the hoopla was about. So watch those videos just to get, like, if you want to get a deeper dive. And if you like the sound of my voice, darling, you know, go ahead and do it. All right, y'all, like, comment, subscribe, and please share. I am trying to do this full time. I would really appreciate the support, but I appreciate you guys just being here and watching. So with no further ado, let's get to the mess. One day I'm going to do a fade out. One day I'm going to learn Adobe editing and do the fade out so it looks real professional. But until then, you're just going to have to take my bootleg fade out. Let's get to the mess. All right, y'all. Let's get into the mess. Okay, it opens with this reunion. I'll share my thoughts in the end, but let's go. I even took notes, even though. Okay, so this reunion, they open up with the montage of Latoya and Drew's relationship. And to tell you the truth, it really made me understand why in the beginning Latoya irked me and why Drew got on my, you know, ever rewind things back and you go back to the origin of why you don't like someone. Latoya did come in on 10. Drew sat down. It's a pandemic. Listen, we all been there. Nobody leaves with their wig or their hair looking messed up. We've all been there. So I remember when Latoya went in on Drew's wig lifting, I mean, maybe it was bringing back embarrassing memories, but when she went in on Drew's wig lifting, you know, I felt for Drew, because it's like Latoya went in guns blazing, trying to humiliate her for something that, you know, especially being on camera, she tried and tried and tried. So usually if her wig was lifted, she knew out the house and she felt self-conscious about it. And Latoya bringing it up, it was to humiliate her. Latoya did the same thing to Fallon. Latoya does have mean girl tendencies. And it reminded me, because Drew did so much shit after that, but it reminded me early on, yeah, that's why I didn't like you, Latoya, because you have really like cruel instincts when you meet someone, right? But then the montage reminded me of why I started not liking Drew's behind. Why was that? Because Drew, instead of throwing, and Cynthia had a good point when she was like, listen, I know Latoya talked about her hair, this and that, but we always talk about each other's hair, wigs, weaves. It was just fun shade. It was cruel because we all been there when you got an important job interview or you're worried about meeting someone or something where you want to look your best and you know people are going to be judging you and you fall short. I've had those days when I'm like, I fall short, but you know what? Let me just suck it up, right? But to Cynthia's point, we all throw shade like that. Porsha kept intervening, being like, now Latoya, you know, trying to act like Latoya had like talked about Drew's kids or something. Like, Porsha, shut up and stay out of this. Like, I get it. It's Drew that's on Porsha's team, which I don't care what nobody says. Porsha needs to watch Drew, right? And also, or Drew needs to watch, no, Porsha needs to watch Drew, because I think Drew has become the new producer's darling. And mentally, I think she can run circles around what Porsha is going to do, but I would like to see that. But back to the point. And Latoya is supposed to be Kenya's, like, you know, proxy. So you know, of course, Porsha is going to defend her proxy to the end, right? But I was like, shut up, Porsha. Like, shut up. It wasn't Drew Latoya did not insult Drew down to her soul. She embarrassed her. It was cruel, but come on. So then it reminded me why I can't stand Drew. Drew is like, oh, when Latoya was like, I'm separated, I can do what I want. And Drew was like, who told you that? I told myself that. My husband told me that. Like, what are you talking about? It's the way Drew gets into her judgy Judy shit. Listen, every relationship is different. Every marriage is different. If Latoya and her husband, I think his name is Adam, is separated and they agreed that they could both see other people, what do you care? What's the problem? Who are you? Are you the judgment, please? If I get married to someone and I both agree we can have a boyfriend, girlfriend, and everything in between every third Saturday of every fourth month, what do you care? Like, where are these rules about marriage coming from? And that's when it reminded me, Drew, you are so churchy. I'm not nothing against churchy people, but we all know, even people that are really in the church, we all know those fake, judgmental people that will literally try to destroy you and break you down to the white meat in Jesus' name. You know what I'm saying? And Drew's one of those people. She does really low down stuff and it's like, in Jesus' name. And it's just like, Drew, shut up. Shut up. And she's also one of those people, like they say, you be busting it up old bolo on Saturday and be in church on Sunday, right? So, you know, they go through the montage of her saying Latoya doesn't care about husbands. I don't know why that bothered her so much. Maybe because Adam's always on there low-key trying to call her, you know, and I don't know, but that really got under Latoya's skin. But to Drew's part, it reminded me of what I don't like about both of them. And to be honest with you, between someone that maybe comes out taking low blows, maybe because I do have thick skin. I mean, maybe this, you know, walking through fire will give you that. But maybe because I can have thick skin, it's fine if somebody tries to shade me. And I'll just be like, yeah, whatever, girl, your wig's lifting and I don't care. Move on, right? As opposed to someone that is trying to befriend me, act like they care, talking about we held each other, you expressed a lot, but you're using everything I told you as a way to try to demean, to try to humiliate. And when I call you back on it, you jump behind the church. Out of those two personalities, I'll take Latoya all day. Plus, Drew's, we'll get into it. We'll get into it, right? Also, what, you know what, Drew? So one of my subscribers, I'm gonna start writing subscribers down, right? And actually saying what they said, because y'all be saying some funny stuff, right? But Drew said some mess about, like, they did another thing like, bitch, I'm from Chicago. Drew gives me very suburban girl tea. I know one of my subscribers is like, the suburbs of Chicago don't play her, don't claim her, send her back. She gives me very suburban girl tea that's used to dealing with people that are not from rougher neighborhoods. So just the fact that you claim your set backs people up, right? We all know it doesn't matter whether you're from Chicago, Atlanta, Los Angeles, New York, the boogie down Bronx, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, or whether you're from the ninth dimension of hell. Everybody can catch hands and everybody can get their butt beat. Being from a neighborhood does not guarantee you can fight. Now, it might guarantee you've been through some stuff, but it doesn't guarantee that you can fight. So if somebody comes to me and it's like, bitch, I'm from LA. All right, what that mean? What does that mean? Okay, and so what are you going to do? In Erica Jane's voice. And what does that mean? Or what, right? It's kind of like the suburban currency where people that are just like, oh my God, you're from Chicago. I don't want something like that. Drew, it's giving me very like playground bully, puff your chest up. No, tell those girls from your Chicago. And they're just like, Chicago? Oh no, miss. Drew, what's that got to do with you catching hands? I don't understand. It's just giving suburban girl trying to intimidate people that never been to Chicago, but they just watch Chicago on TV and they're like, wow, everybody in Chicago carries a blade, a gun, a knife, and oh, you better watch out from Drew. Stop, right? They say, do the montage, and she's like, oh no, you are Latoya. Never, ever, 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 ever. I know people were like gagging over that. I never thought that was a good read. I was just like, it's like all Drew's read, just elementary. Porsha chiming in, you know, you got Drew about to take you back down to Chi-Town. Can we stop it? We can tell by the way Drew talks. We can tell by the way Drew dresses. And we can even tell the way Drew walked up on Kenya and then walked up on Latoya at the season finale. Drew, you can't fight. And listen, we're all at the age. Drew got 3 kids. Everybody has kids. Everybody's grown, right? We're all at the age nobody should be fighting, right? But if we are going to take it there, Drew, I can tell by the way you walked up on her. I can tell by the way you were agging on them. I can tell by the way you confronted her. And even the way you started kicking your legs up and stuff at the season finale. You can't fight. Somebody that fights would never be up on Kenya while she was holding something the way she was. She wasn't. Somebody that can fight would have never approached Latoya to fight. You know, Drew is all for show. She can't fight. I don't know why she keeps trying to say Chi-Town. Porsha is acting like, you know, Chi-Town. Let me move to Chicago so I can start telling people, bitch, I'm from Chicago. Don't mess with me, right? They go into Drew talking about her wig is perfect, this and that. It's all stupid and petty, like Cynthia said, you know. But then Kenya brings up a good point when she was like, okay, but all this shit was happening, right? It was Latoya, the one doing that. She came back to Cynthia and Kenya, and to Kenya and Cynthia's thing, they were like, calm that down, Latoya. Like, she seems perfectly nice. Let it go. Drew then focuses on Kenya and tries to make it a problem with Kenya, talking about, oh, this must be Kenya's real hair. Can we stop it? Kenya is not bald-headed. Listen, we all wear extensions. We all wear weaves, but we all have hair too, right? And even if you don't, it really doesn't matter, right? But the point is, we all know that Kenya has long, luxurious hair. That's one of the things Kenya was known for, right? So whether Kenya wears extensions, clip-ins, this and that, Kenya is encouraging girls to take care of her now. Now, I know in the past, Kenya did shade about, oh, I don't want little girls to wear wigs and stuff, but can we literally use a little critical thinking? We all throw shade, just like Kenya said about the broke bitches part, right? I just said it just to be smart and just to be whatever. Kenya said it before because she was trying to shade Porsha, because all Porsha wore was wigs and extensions and you couldn't see her hair. Porsha has beautiful hair too, right? But Kenya said that to shade Porsha. We all know that she indulges in extensions and wigs. It's protective hair care. The whole point of Kenya Moore hair care, I know it sounds like Kenya Moore hair care commercial, but it's not. The whole point is Kenya saying is that we need to love and nourish our natural hair underneath. Okay, let's move on. But again, that's when Drew, which another one of the subscribers said, and I think it's so true, literally studied Housewives to see what her lane could be. And she realized one of the ways I can get in, and it worked, right? Because she was one of the only 5 sitting up there. Everybody else was brought on as a friend, is to attack Kenya, right? That's going to make me Portia's baby, cat's paw, even though I still think she should walk out too. And it's going to make me a fan favorite too, because a lot of people hate Kenya. But there's one thing you didn't count on, Drew, Sadora. Nobody likes you either. See, that's the thing. People love Porsha. I like Porsha. I think Porsha is very lovable. This character she's playing this season, I'm not really in love with it. But Porsha on her own, very beautiful, very bubbly, very likable personality. There is no mistake. That's how she became the fan favorite, right? Based on what is portrayed on TV. Drew, you're just not likable. And that's what you forgot. You forgot. It's like baking a cake and you're like, okay, I got the eggs, I got the vanilla, I got this, I got that. Yeah, but where's the goddamn flour? Drew, you forgot the flour. Nobody likes you. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. So then they get into the whole Kenya and Latoya thing. Listen, I've said it before. I don't care what y'all say. This was all made up. Like, Kenya did not, if she did even find Latoya's energy attractive, Kenya never gave me the vibes that it was ever veering into like, oh, forbidden territory. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I remember when Kenya gave her lingerie, everybody's just like, ew. Listen, Kenya gets gifted a lot of stuff like most celebrities, or, you know, if you want to call her a celebrity. And she took some underwear that she had never worn, right? And never used, and she gave it away to someone. I think she all did it for camera time. This was another storyline that Kenya thought she could do. Let's not forget these women are all on reality TV, and their job is to be interesting and bring storylines. And here's the thing. Reality TV is like archetypes, right? You're portraying an archetype. It's why people hate Kenya and never met her. It's like Porsha stans be going crazy. It's like Kenya stan. It's all archetypes that we're talking about. It's commentary, people. Nobody knows the real Porsha. Nobody knows the real Kenya. We only know what producers let us see. And we know the producers highly edit things because we could actually see it happening this season. So can we just talk about this, what it is? It is a soap opera. It is a soap opera starring real people that use real things in their lives. That said, the people don't want access into the real parts, right? I might be on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I don't want you actually know where the bodies are buried, where my childhood trauma lies, and what's going on for real, that hurts my feelings and embarrasses me about my interpersonal relationships. So of course, they're all making up red herring stories that they hope the producers run with to take the shine off of what's going on in their real life. If you have never seen this happen, y'all, watch a few seasons of Beverly Hills and you will see the red herrings where they don't let you know what's really going on in their life. But, right? Kenya and Latoya, they talk, and this is my whole thing about Drew that makes me mad. This is when I stopped liking her. The way she was on What's Just Happened Live, and she was just like, oh, you know, Kenya, there's definitely something going on between Latoya and Drew. I felt the connection. You really went on Watch What Happened Live on national TV and said that you know the two people are definitely in a relationship and using stuff. Then she comes back to the reunion. And she was speaking in her stupid newscaster voice acting lessons, right? If anybody's ever took acting lessons, newscasting, you know that tone they teach you to speak it in the way you're supposed to say your words. That's what Drew was doing, right? And Drew was like, I'm just saying, I felt the connection. You can't make these claims and then just walk it back and expect the people are going to let it shine because everybody knows what you meant, Drew, with the connection. So, of course, Latoya exposes her. And she's like the connection we had. And Drew was like, excuse me? And she was like, oh, you know, you cheated on your husband with me. It gets back and forth into whether Drew's lying or Latoya's lying. Listen, and then Kandi's like, Porsha, you told me that she kissed her. Listen, Drew kissed Latoya. How do I know that? I wasn't there. What makes me think that she kissed her? Drew is a known liar. Liar. Known. Latoya is messy. Latoya is rude. Latoya has cruel, mean girl tendencies. But the one thing I can say from this, and maybe this is Latoya being in that air sign Aquarius energy, just like Kenya, Latoya is not a liar. Latoya is not a liar. I will say one thing about Aquarius is love them or hate them. Aquariuses stand in their truth. Now, here's the thing. Tauruses stand in their truth too, but not to people that they look at as their enemies. You know, I'm not saying Tauruses are liars. They're not. The Drew's liar tendencies have nothing to do with being a Taurus, but Tauruses will divert. Tauruses will concede. Tauruses are very into how respectability works, right? Unevolved Tauruses will do anything they can to put on a front because unevolved Tauruses, because they are so judgmental of other people, they really want to make sure that people don't judge me. You look at Kandi. Kandi's an evolved Taurus. She's like, this is me. And while we're at it, let me figure out a way to make money on it, right? Evolved Taurus to her heart. Drew is an unevolved Taurus. It's all about looks. It's all about show. That's why that wig lifting really hurt her to her heart because Drew's the type of person that would drag somebody and be a mean girl to somebody because their hair or their stuff. Or again, very judgmental people are always afraid that people are going to judge them. So there's that. They roll into Kenya being like, well, if you didn't have a crush on her, why do you get so mad over her being with what's her name? Porsha. Porsha gets that smirk on her face, like, because we talked about this, the way Porsha feels this pride for being able to sexually dominate the situation, which makes me think, honestly, before Porsha got all that surgery to give her the body, before, and I always thought Porsha was a pretty girl, before Porsha got that surgery to make her face what she deemed, not what we deemed, but what she deemed to be top tier beautiful, right? Did Porsha have like, I don't know, that syndrome of ugly duck syndrome where she was always the last chosen, where men didn't find her sexually attractive, where the boys she was attracted to made fun of her body and that she was never ever chosen? Because, and when I say chosen, Porsha does give me pick me vibes sometimes, but that whole thing about the way Porsha delights in being able to be the sexually dominant one. And you and I as grown women, I hope we're all grown women watching this. If you were under 18, go ask your mom, is it okay to listen to this? But you and I as grown women, we all know we can get any man we want. Now listen, to get somebody to commit to you, to get somebody to be in a relationship with you, that takes a little bit more doing because then it's like personality messing. But as a woman, any woman, I don't care if you look like Quasimodo or if you look like Naomi Campbell, I don't care where you are on that spectrum, right? If you make yourself available to a man is going to take it. They will. They will. They will. They will. Now, here's the thing. So to actually sit there and be proud, like, yes, that person loves me. I can sleep with that person. Yeah, I think any woman in the world can get any man, if she makes herself, delights him, titillates him, can get any man to sleep with her. I don't think it's a big accomplishment for a woman to bed a man, right? We always talk about patriarchal ways, all this stuff. I just don't think it's a big deal, right? It is this thing in patriarchy where they make women feel like if you give it up to a man, you are ruined. So men feel some type of conquest, like, yes, I stole the treasure and now you're nothing. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about society's roles and the way, yes, if you tease and titillate a man and you go after them, you can get a man to bed you. That's why I don't understand the way Porsha really smirks at the fact of being able, and even women too, right? If somebody does like women, of course, I know you have to like women, but I don't understand how Porsha gets this pride from her sexual conquest. It's really giving me like, you were never chosen. You were always the thing. People would be like, ugh, I would never. And now you have this power that when you were younger, you dreamed of having. It's no real power. It's called being a woman. It's called knowing how to use your second. It's called the spirit of Delilah, right? Shout out to Drew. Anyway, it's so funny that Drew and Porsha are best friends, right? Faking to be the best friends, because I really feel like it's going to fall apart in season 2, right? Because Drew is going for top dog. She's only being friends with Porsha now because I see Drew's game as a Taurus. You are climbing. You're only being friends with Porsha right now because that's the way to the top. But make no mistake, from an unevolved Taurus or any Taurus, you want to be at the top. You want to be running shit, and you are not comfortable being flunky or number 2 to anyone. You guys watch out for that. But it's funny that Drew has all these things to say about shaming, this and that, but yet you're friends with Porsha, who lives her life freely. Unevolved Cancer. She tries to hide it afterwards and project and shame people for the same thing she's doing because she thinks there's something wrong with it. But speaking of projecting and shaming, Kenya, they were showing a clip when Kenya was being chocolate. Kenya rocked that outfit. Out of all the ladies, Kenya looked fun. Kenya literally does look like a Barbie to me. Even the way she is built is, when I was little, it reminded me of what I thought Barbies were. Tall, but body, beautiful, symmetrical face. Like Kenya, and she's 5'10". Like Kenya looked absolutely drop dead gorgeous in her red outfit. I thought she had the best outfit out of all the ladies. And when she was rolling around on the floor of chocolate, I was like, get it, Kenya, get it, right? And I remember watching it being like, this is wasted on Mark. Every last thing is wasted on Mark. But you show Porsha shaming her. Oh, I can see her uterus, what she's doing, trying to act like she was at low-key. I remember the episode. Porsha really admired, like Porsha has this weird, I think she's attracted to Kenya. I think she wants to be like Kenya. I think she admires Kenya, but there's something about Kenya, and it's the way that Kenya is always on and giving intelligent reads, that Porsha can't hang with, and it makes Porsha feel incompetent. And of course, now that Portia's growing into who she wants, she needs to destroy that idol that she had in her mind all this time, which is Kenya Moore. Sometimes we admire our idols, but when we get next to our idols and we cannot measure up to them, right? The next logical thing is, if I cannot measure up to my idol in her mind, because Porsha and Kenya, like both, but if she can't measure up to her idol, now she wants to go in and destroy her idol. And that's the bullshit she's on. Unfortunately, you picked Kenya Summer Moore, and Kenya Summer Moore is going down swinging. So it literally is like Clash of the Titans. Somebody super emotionally intelligent and somebody super, mentally, intellectually a talent, right? They go over about, like, whatever. You saw it. Latoya said she saw Kenya naked. It was only cellulite. This is the type of shit that made me feel like producers. It was just the editing. It's like, you guys get us excited over nothing. Anyway, I believe that Latoya kissed Drew, or Drew kissed Latoya. I believe that they kissed. I believe that her face was in the toilet, and maybe it was in the toilet because some of that peach juice didn't sit right in her stomach. I don't know. It seems like with this dungeon stuff, there was a good old time happening, depending on what your version of the good old time is. Anyway, let's begin. So anyway, they're like, why did you tell Kenya was asking Latoya, why'd you tell them about Mark and the alimony? Latoya tries to be like, no, I just didn't know. The relationships are always so bipolar. Kenya, I love Kenya saying, you were the youngest, but stop acting like you're the dumbest on the stage. And Porsha, right? But yeah, Kenya called her out. Girl, you knew, I told you in detail. We all knew that we couldn't trust Drew because she was groomed by Porsha. Porsha's like, grooming? I got laptops now. I'm grooming people. Yes, you are, right? They try to interrupt and have a moment. Kenya keeps plowing through. Latoya, you knew this and that. Latoya then goes to throw Kandi on the bus. It's like, okay, but we're talking about me, but you told down Juan, Kandi. And Candy's like, yes, that was not the best idea for me. And it certainly wasn't the best idea for you. So we see that fracture in Latoya and Ken's and Kenya's relationship. Why do people always try to mess up, like throw shade at Kenya by calling her Ken? I know Mark was doing it because he's like a fucking fake alpha male. I hate Mark. I hate. One of my subscribers were like, I married a good guy from New York. Girl, congratulations. And I'm not saying there aren't good guys in New York. I'm just saying that there is a subculture of F-boys from New York, and Mark fits into that subculture, okay? 80% of the men in New York, good men. Girl, you got a good man in New York. Congratulations. No shade. But let's talk, and you know from dating around in New York, 20% of the boys, 30% are F-boys, and Mark is a New York F-boy to his heart. But I actually think Ken is a cute nickname for Kenya. I actually like when beautiful women have men names or masculine names or masculine nicknames, because when you see them and it's just like, oh, where's Ken? And you see her and she looks like Goddess Barbie. I'm like, you know, it's like if we call Porsha Pete, right? Where's Pete, right? Where's Pete? And then you see Pete walking in looking like Goddess Porsha. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think that's cute. Anyway, yeah, she called her out on that. Moving on. I don't really think black is Shamia's color per se, but she looked really, really good, right? At least black of all those feathers. It was just a lot. It was a lot, right? It was too lush, right? And I think Shamia's drop dead gorgeous. Anyway, they asked Shamia, what's your inspiration? And Marlo's like, coming to America. And I fell out because, yeah, right? She's a queen bee. So anyway, they're talking about onto your nieces. Cynthia throws her a little Pisces shade too when she was like, yes, we have the same, pretty much the same outfit with the feathers, but this is the auntie version and that's the niece version. No shade. The auntie version looked a lot better than the niece version, right? They talk about Marlo's lipo. Listen, Marlo did seem shady at the table, but it could have been because she was drunk, or she could have been lying. But there was also something in what Marlo was saying. I was scheduled for lipo. I didn't get it. I'm getting it in 2 weeks. Why would I lie about having lipo? Maybe she got caught in a lie. Maybe she wouldn't. I just find it ironic that Porsha Lipo Williams was trying to shade her for having lipo, and it wasn't about the line. They just were trying to embarrass her. Even though Marlo said plenty of times she's had lipo. Also, whoever told Shamia, if I was Marlo, I would be getting an attorney involved, because who told you? Who told you? Because whoever told you, they do not know the procedures that I had. So was it the receptionist? Was it the doctor's office? Was it somebody that I would get lawyers involved, and I would start suing? I would even go after that doctor, or at least try to get, because honestly, who released my medical information? This is what I mean about Porsha and by proxy Shamia, right? Playing dangerous games. There's a difference between throwing shade and saying somebody's wig is lifting up and talking about somebody's confident medical information, not the information they admitted to, or not like what's suspected, but being like, our friend told us that you were in there having lipo. How do you know? I would have claimed it and be like, yeah, who told you? No, but who told you? I want to know. I want to know for HIPAA purposes, who told you? But we all know that Marlo is trying to get a peach, so maybe she doesn't want to make waves by suing people. We all know that's the quickest way for producers to take a lead. So I don't know whether Marlo was lying or not. I do know, when I saw the scene, I was like, no, Marlo, you sound like you're lying because you can't get your story straight. But on the other hand, I am one of those people where I have a logic, and before I figure out that people think I'm lying, like sometimes I'll say stuff and people think I'm lying, but it's going over my head. So I'm just answering like you believe me, and it's not till later till I was like, oh wait, you thought I was lying? I had to defend myself? Oh wait, hold on. So I've been there. So I'm going to cut my Marlo some slack. Trying to antagonize Kenya about Brooklyn, right? I didn't know at that time that Mark had said that Brooklyn couldn't appear. And the way she kept saying, your daughter Brooklyn, your daughter Brooklyn, we were doing with your daughter Brooklyn, in that stupid newscaster voice I hate. I saw the way now she was really trying to antagonize Kenya when they got down to the Bolo thing. Now, a couple thoughts on this, right? Kenya makes a remark to Kandi saying, listen, you organized a whole boop in a box. You could have organized to bring your child down easier than me, right? Andy asked him, okay, so if you had the option, would you guys have bought the children? Because like Kenya said on other trips, Drew invited all the kids, nobody came. And Porsha was like, I would have asked production, because it seemed like before, whenever she bought her child, she was going against the grain. This was really interesting. So there's this girl I watch, Nikki Star TV. If you haven't watched her, check her out. She's pretty good. She has really in-depth reviews, and sometimes I feel like she has, I don't know. But the whole point of this is she made a comment that and then follow me on this, when Kenya got fired, right, the first time, production was really, really mad that she hit her wedding, right? The production wanted her to stay, according to Nikki Starr, wanted her to stay fired. But Kenya then went to the network executives and was like, listen, and did a mea culpa. I'm sorry, this and that. I'll show my family, I'll show my baby, but I think this is a bit harsh. The network executives were like, okay, give her another turn, and told the production company to bring her back. The production company is still mad that they were forced to bring her back. Had it been them, she would have stayed fired, because apparently whoever the production company is, True Media or Entertainment, whatever the name is, doesn't really like Kenya. Yeah, it was the wedding, but maybe there were other things too, right? And that's why Kenya always gets a bad edit. That's why even that with that Black Lives Matter, how they took that dig to try to make Kenya look bad. Now, I'm not saying Nikki Starr said that's why they did the Black Lives Matter thing. This is me speaking now, in my opinion, that's why they, even though they cut out the scene for Porsha, they even used Black Lives Matter. And the thing is, everybody's so mad at Kenya. If anything, and Porsha's like, oh, you're making a mockery of Black Lives Matter. How come nobody's going after the production company that you guys honestly put in that clip of what Kenya was saying or questioning to make this whole storyline and make everybody hate Kenya, but you guys were using Black Lives Matter as the reason for everybody to hate Kenya? If you want to keep Black Lives Matter above the fray and be respectful, then why did you do that in the first place, right? But let's get down to this, right? I see Kenya's point, and I'm glad she called Kandi to the carpet, and Porsha. The only people that Kandi and Porsha are titans. They are mainstays. They are OGs, just like Kenya is. And to be honest, Porsha is the producer's babies. We always see that. Kandi is very loved and protected by Bravo executives. We see that. The only people that would have had to ask permission is Drew, Latoya, Marlo, and Shamia, because they are B characters and they could take them or leave them, and they can't afford to rock the boat. Porsha, Kandi, both of y'all could have said, for whatever reason, listen, I just had my baby surrogate. I want to bond with her, and I don't think it's a good idea for me to be alone. Porsha could have said, listen, I want to take my child. Neither of you guys wanted to take your children. And that's what Kenya is saying. It doesn't, listen, the only people that have a right to be mad about the invitation are the B cast members. But how Porsha was saying, how Kenya was saying, all of us have the same power. So why are you sitting here trying to have the conversation like you need my permission, you need this and that? And to the point, I always take Brooklyn on every trip. But it was interesting the way Porsha said, I would have asked production. So you're saying that even if Kenya had invited you, it still probably wouldn't have been approved because you need production. So then what does it matter if Kenya invited you? Because if you're saying that production was the one that made the call, if you wanted your child there, you just would have gone to production. Because Porsha, I know for a fact you don't give a damn about getting under Kenya's skin, making her mad or embarrassing her. That would have been the perfect way, right? And then they get into the whole, the whole selfish thing. Like, why didn't you get a crab cake? Kandi's still mad about that food. Listen, I'm going to call Kenya to the thing. Kenya, what you did on that cash trip was ignorant. I came on the cash trip. You're supposed to be hosting. Everybody's hungry. Yeah, you put food in the refrigerator, but I didn't come on a cash trip to cook. You could have had a private chef there the whole time. It was a cash trip. But what's more, you ordered food, and you ordered food just for yourself. But she said it, I was being selfish. You were also mad at the way everybody was talking trash about you, even Kandi. And listen, Kenya and Kandi are cool. They are even friends, but I do think she did that to actually get under Kandi's skin because she was mad that Kandi was back cool with Porsha and she wanted to take that little passive aggressive dig. And that's why Kandi got so mad, because she knew it was a passive aggressive. Because honestly, if I am ordering food for myself and I don't mess with anybody, I am also going to order extra for the people that I mess with. Kandi, Cynthia, Latoya, and Brooklyn. You see what I'm saying? But no, Kenya was being very shady, in my opinion, to Kandi. And that's all right, because Kenya and Kandi had that relationship where we have a friendship, but we don't need to be loyal to each other. They have defined the terms of their friendship like that. When that happened, though, the one thing Kenya didn't count on is our little unevolved Cancer seeing an opening in Kandi's emotional state and crawling in there and exploiting it. That's the first time also it reminded me, Kandi is very, 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 in my opinion, emotionally open to being manipulated from Porsha. There is an emotional side of Kandi. Tauruses and Cancers really are just the same emotionally, except the fact that Tauruses will hide it better and keep on and go get that money. They'll throw their emotions into work and getting money. And Cancers are like, no, I need to be soothed emotionally, right? Porsha is very good at hitting and playing Kandi emotionally. Very, very good. And when Kenya took that little swipe at Kandi and hurt her feelings about the crab cake, our little crusty cat Porsha did a little sideways crab walk into Kandi's emotional sphere. And you know, when a Cancer gets into your emotional sphere, they're playing like, they're playing like that little xylophone they play in Island Holidays. So she took that moment and she got it and she exploited it. And honestly, I do think, yeah, what Kenya did was really, really messed up. I know as a Cancer, she messed with the food, so that was a crime against God. But I do think that, like, Kandi did allow Porsha to pull and amplify all these emotions, right? They asked, well, how come you didn't get a nanny? And I felt Kenya said, first of all, I wasn't in Atlanta. And second of all, I had a new nanny. And third of all, you must be out your mind if you think I'm leaving my golden child, my miracle baby, my reason to be alive, my source of unconditional love. You must be crazy if you think I'm leaving her with an unknown nanny. Listen, I feel you. Every time I open the paper, I remember for years, there were years of people treating kids mean, doing this, doing that. A lot of tragic things happen to very young people at the hands of their caretakers, babysitters, and nanny. I wouldn't leave my child with an unknown either. I just wouldn't, especially my miracle baby. Get out of here. They get into splitting checks, right? And like, you know, the whole broke bees, split checks. Kenya addresses that. And she said, listen, and I like the way Kenya actually addressed it and cut it off. Listen, I was saying that to be shady. It was ignorant. My bad, right? Drew tries to make it more of a moment. She's always trying to have a moment. The thing is with Drew's moment, it is so rehearsed. It is so read. And you can tell that she is a producer pawn. But like at the end of the day, bring a pawn in, but can we make it less obvious? I will say that, like, to Kenya's point, the check was $50. We are not 20 years old on spring break and spend all our money on a room with 20 people and don't have any money left. Yes, I'm talking about my own personal experience, right? We all work for this place. We are all women that are accomplished for a certain reason. $50 shouldn't be anything. At the end of the day, it comes a point where there's money and when there's convenience. Kenya was ready to go. Once the check is paid, you can get up. You cannot get up and leave before the check is paid. So honestly, if I'm trying to get out your face and it's like $50 to me, the convenience of me being able to get out your face like that for $50, take it. It's worth it to me sitting there for $25 having to suffer you. But the thing is with Drew, that's how you can tell that Drew has not, no matter what she says, and we'll talk about her step up money, made that social economic jump. And there's nothing wrong with that. No shade. She has 3 kids. They just bought a $1 million house or $4 million house. I understand you got bills. I'm not shading anyone. You know, some months I have it, some months I don't. That is not my point to shade. My whole point is you can tell that Drew and her social circle that she hangs around has not made that jump yet where $50 isn't shit. Do you know what I'm saying? There comes a point where you're just like, I'm not paying for her. I don't care if it's $25. It comes to a point where $25 is nothing, like literally nothing. So to actually be like, oh, actually we'll split it. You're not doing anything. And you haven't and the thing is, mentally it lets me know that the people around you still count as spending $25 on you as being able to hold it over your head. Listen, some months I have it, sometimes I did. But if somebody was like, yo, Yeah, and you know I picked up Tisa's tab for $50. I would look at you like, and like, what the hell is $50? Do you want it back? Do you want me to cash app you? Like, what do you want? I reached that point where, and you can tell that Drew, by the way she dresses, by the way she talks to her, your social circle hasn't reached that. Like, talk to Cynthia about 50. Talk about Rhoa about Beverly. You don't even need to bring them in. Talk about Atlanta. Talk about Kenya. What is $50? We're all adults. $50 was something when I was 20. $50 is not anything now. Not enough for you to hold over me and try to shame me like, oh no, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, let's move on. Another interesting thing that happened, this is just an aside, where they asked, listen, Patty and Secaucus Kandi wants to know why you care about Kenya's thing when Riley says you're a bad mom. And then, you know, that mother bear instinct with Tauruses are very possessive about their possessions, but the people that they love, those are their pride and joy. And Kandi was like, watch your mouth, Andy, because first of all, just because Riley was mad at me, don't make it seem like I wasn't an involved mom. She was just being mad at me. Watch your mouth. And then Porsha being that Cancer, y'all, say what you want about Porsha. Porsha is very emotionally intelligent and she knows how to exploit fractures. She knows how to triangulate, right? A lot of Cancers have this power. She saw that Kandi was like, watch your tone. She saw that hurt Andy's feelings and enraged him. And that's when Porsha jumped in and was like, watch yourself, right? Because she was trying to get into that emotional thing and actually exploit that she was trying to get into that emotional anger and actually exploit it to magnify and to exploit that fracture that had happened between Kandi and Andy at that moment and actually feed into that. Again, you gotta watch Porsha. She is so emotionally intelligent. Kandi goes on to say, no, I felt like she was using Brooklyn as excuse not to engage with us. And yeah, she was. Kandi, just say you're still mad about her crap cake, right? But she was. But honestly, I will give Kenya grace, just like, you know, I like Porsha. I like all the ladies, actually, except Drew. I don't like Drew because she's fake and phony and like whatever. But, and when I say I don't like her, it's like I don't like her, not like I want to hate watch her. I don't like Drew at all. Like, I'm going to start fast forwarding part because it's all fake. It's all phony. It's all lies. She'll say whatever, do whatever. But back to Kenya, whether you like somebody or not, sometimes when you see another human being is going through something, you have to give them grace. Now, I don't know what Porsha thinks Kenya did to her, to the fact that she deserves no grace. And maybe Porsha's justified or not. Again, we only see what's on TV. But from what I've seen, from what Kenya does, and the type of person Kenya is, Mark was taking her through it. And Kenya deserved grace. I am tired. Ooh, that was dramatic. I am tired of people acting like Mark is Kenya's punishment. Mark is Kenya. No one on that cast has done anything to be verbally and mentally abused, to be gaslit, and to be humiliated on national television just for having the courage to love. Kenya doesn't deserve it. Porsha doesn't deserve it. Kandi doesn't deserve it. Cynthia, Latoya, Shamia, Marlo, and fine, Drew doesn't deserve it either. Nobody on that cast deserves it. So it really, really upsets me that at that time, that you can tell that Kenya was at her breaking point. At that time when you could tell that she was 1 second away from losing her marbles and truly being broken, which I believe is Mark's goal. Not so he can break her and have her, but so he can break her, take what she has, and move on. When you can tell that she was truly, truly, truly at the edge of what I would call a nervous breakdown, by the way her hair looked, by the way her face looked, by everything, Porsha took that time, took the knife and dig it in. And that was a vein of cruelty where I saw and think, y'all can say what y'all want about Kenya. Porsha, you are dangerous. You are dangerous. There is cruel. Even Kenya, I remember that time they were on a reunion and Nene started, Kenya was like kind of like talking about Nene's mom, or they were talking about each other's mom. And something happened and Nene almost lost her mind. Even Kenya got up and hugged Nene. It was like, Nene, it's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. We like you, Nene. Even Kenya realized she went too far. She was even telling Kandi, come hug her. And Kandi was like, no, I'm not hugging her. You know, being a tourist. No, I'm not doing it. She can cry, right? But Kenya, when she sees she's gone too far, she backs up. Porsha took that time and that's when I saw, and I was like, Porsha, you really forget about the Kandi Shabbat. You are dangerous. You are cruel. You want to see people destroyed. Kenya just wants people to stay in their place, to respect her, and to stay in their place. Porsha, you actually want to see people destroyed. And I don't like that. I didn't like it. I saw a glimpse of her true personality, and I really honestly didn't like it at that table. Even when she was like, oh, you can go ahead, or you want everybody to feel sorry for you. And it's just like, is your hate for Kenya and whatever she possesses that irks you? I think it's jealousy. You can say what it is, but there's something that irks her to the soul. But what did she actually do to you to deserve you trying to break her? Anyway, let's move on to more lighthearted stuff. Okay, let's get back into Drew and her. Ugh, God, I'm so mad I have to talk about it, but I'm glad that like they called her out. So then I'm like, listen, Drew, why'd you tell about the private plane? When can you actually not do? Drew can say, well, these are your friends, and these are your friends. And I said, why are you lying to your friends? I'm holding you accountable. Drew, who the fuck are you to come in and let me know why I'm lying to my friends? Don't worry about it. Kenya said, I explained it in the chat. This is why I don't want anybody to know. Who, the audacity, the Christian judgment, the religious, faux religious shit. Who are you to tell me that you need to hold me accountable to my friends when you don't even know the situation? Even if this wasn't a show and everything Drew was saying wasn't bullshit, who the hell are you when I explain to you, listen, do not tell. Well, listen, can you not tell my mom A, B, and C? Lisa, I just want you to hold you accountable. Who are you to do that? Who are you? Where did you get this authority? It makes me so, I wanted to hold your feet to the fire. Drew, goodbye, right? Then she was like, well, I was very nice to you, Kenya, with her shade. When you were letting me know about your body issues, I was like, do you want me to bring any Spanx? So then Drew was like, okay, let me just educate you on what's going on. I had a hysterectomy. No, not, I think I have to have a hysterectomy. I have endometrial, whatever, things growing in my stomach, moving up, blah, blah, blah. I'm not making light of the issue for anyone that has it. I'm making light of the way Drew explained it, right? And you need to educate yourself because there's a lot of women, first of all, like Kenya said, one, when I talked to you in a nice way about what's going on, you never told me you were suffering from a medical condition. I was only being nice to you. Two, what does that have to do with the price of China? See, here's the thing with Drew. I don't understand. She always throws these things out as a reason for doing messed up stuff, right? The reason I can talk about your body and your life and your family and your husband and all this stuff is because you have a messed up life, body, whatever. But when you talk about me, how dare you? Because I suffer for something. Oh, you don't know my child's relationship. My fault. It wasn't my fault. It was in jail. There's always an excuse for why Drew did something. Let me tell you something. God forbid, you know what? Let me tell you something. God forbid there be something seriously, some type of mental or physical disability that, I'll talk about it, right? I have dyslexia, right? Should I edit that out? I don't want y'all knowing that about, okay, it doesn't matter, right? I have learning disabilities, right? And I've had them all my life. It's fine. They weren't diagnosed till later, till I went into postgraduate school. And I saw like what was with my way of learning, the way I approach things, this and that, right? Fine. Follow me on this, right? However, that would be like me shading somebody for their executive organization skills, the way they take notes, the way they can't pay attention, the way they mispronounce words, the way they can't read certain things correctly, right? That would be like me shading somebody for that, and making fun of them and all this stuff, or their messy notes and humiliating them and trying to call them out. And then when they come back at me, I'm like, how dare you? I have a learning disability. If you have a learning disability, what are you doing shading someone? Because you cannot literally affect the way somebody claps back. And here's the thing. When you went after Kenya for her body, it's not like she went and started talking about your mom. She went back at your body. But then you held up this shield of righteousness. Like, you can't talk about me because my issue is what? God-given, and your issue is man-made. You can't do that. I cannot talk to anybody, attack somebody for a learning disability, and then get mad when they clap back at me. What? And the fact that everybody is being like, oh yeah, Kenya, you're the bad person. Can y'all stop starting in the middle? Listen, next season, Kim Summer might be on the chopping block, and I might have a lot of things to say about the way she's acting. But for this season, it's like, Drew, okay, fine, you suffer from this condition. Fine. But you're talking about my body, so I'm going to talk about yours. You're talking about my body, so I'm going to talk about yours. And honestly, even that situation, if you wanted to get into it, Drew, you can have surgery to have that tissue removed. A lot of times people have to have multiple surgeries to have that tissue removed. Drew, shut up. And honestly, like I said before, this is no shade to anybody that suffers from that condition, but I don't believe that Drew suffers from that situation in that way. I don't believe that extra weight on her stomach is caused by that. I've seen the way Drew's shaped. Y'all, I don't know if you saw it, but Drew posted the dumbest, corniest picture of her sitting there wearing wedges, one of those mommy and me, you know, the swimsuits that you wear when like you either have a big stomach or you have like your maternity wear where it flutes out like an A-line shirt, and then it has like the bikini bottoms, but she's sitting there and she has her butt out and it's like taken and approved by Ralph, which bothered me anyway because she's such a patriarchal princess. You know those people that have to be like, yo, my husband approved, like, you can't be out here disrespecting your husband. So she has to let you know my husband approved of this, because that's the first thing she would say. What you doing out here disrespecting your husband? You know, the people that think that because you have a husband or a boyfriend, they have ownership of you. Listen, if I'm in a relationship, I will try to respect my boyfriend as much as possible, but don't tell me what the hell to do. I'll do what I want. If I think a picture is appropriate, we're going to post this picture. You can have your opinion of it, but it's my body, my picture, my image. I can do what I want. But anyway, she's sitting there posing, and you can tell she thought she posted a thirst trap. And when you see that picture, y'all go to Drew's Instagram. It's so corny. It's so stupid. It's so like, ugh, cringy. It's like you see Drew's whole personality. It's like, Drew, you really, there's no hope for her. Like the things Drew thinks are sexy are things like an 80-year-old. Like she's just cringy. Even the way she was posed. If you want to post a thirst trap, pop it up, push it out, do something, give the girl something to work with. You know, it reminded me a little bit of Kandi's picture where she posted like Freaknik 2021, and it was just like the camera angle just looked like, and the way she's smiling, I'm just like, oh, how is this sexy? Like, I don't know. Anyway, but she's talking about that. But anyway, you can see from her pictures the way she's shaped. You are naturally apple shaped. There is nothing wrong with that. Just like I am pear shaped, right? No matter what, there's always going to be a little bit extra in that apple. I know in this world, we always talk about surgery and everybody's used to like getting your body sculpted the way it is. I thank Drew for embracing her natural self. But if you are going to clap back at somebody, you cannot get mad when they return fire in the exact same line. You talk about my mom, I'm going to talk about yours. You talk about my man, I'm going to talk about yours. You talk about my body. Come on, y'all, say it with me. Even Drew, come on, get in on the sing-along. I'm going to talk about yours. Anyway, let's move on. Drew then goes on to say some shit about, broke bitches don't split checks, but they buy almost $1 million homes. And I was like, yo, that broke bitch thing really, really got to you because you are mad. You are mad. You are so mad. They can you called you out for being broke. And hit dogs will holler. Let me tell you something. Then she's like, ooh, broke, but I was a star and set it off 400 million worldwide. And like Kenya said, what does that have to do with anything you said concerning how much money you got in your pocket? Now let me break this down for y'all, right? So from an entertainment law point, for those of y'all that don't know, right? You star in a movie. They give you a set amount. If you have enough power, if they want you enough, and if you have the right entertainment lawyers, you also negotiate royalties on the back end. Truth be told, the back end is where people make money. Even like big stars like Will Smith, Tom Cruise, they'll take a little bit less on the front end or a lot less on the front end so they can get the back end residuals. Because on the front end, it's like they pay you once, right? It's like they pay you once for making it, and then that's it. And then all the money it makes, it might become one of the biggest movies. You never see another penny of it. A lot of times with TV shows, when casts are in like cast-wise negotiations where they hold hands and be like, none of us are coming back unless you give us back in residual, it's because the first season you paid us, second season 5, third season, it shows that it's about to go into syndication, which means that it will be played forever into perpetuity. And now you want a little money on the back end because if you are profiting off of me this much, I deserve to profit off of my own image, right? Okay, fine. Drew, just because you were in a $4 million movie, you know how I know, and anybody that knows entertainment law, you could literally have gotten $100,000 to star in that movie, because there's no guarantee how much they even paid you on the front end, right? If it was your first starring role, you might have took a lot less so you could get that headline and get business after. You know, let's not forget acting. You need to make sure that you always have like people wanting you. So the more your name's out there, the more people recognize your name, the more for your next project you can charge, because knock on wood, you are always hoping there is a next project. Listen, like Kenya said, which is why I was like, Drew, how much did you make off of that movie? Because literally, even Will Smith, you don't make 20% of the back end unless you are the producer. What does how much a $400 million movie have to do with grossing? The studio gets the most money, right? The director gets paid. All these people get paid before the stars, especially about a movie that didn't have established names in it. Do you know what I'm saying? So Drew, you could have literally gotten paid $500,000. You could have even gotten paid $1 million off of that movie. For you to negotiate back end, I don't think you did it. And the fact that you didn't actually say, oh, I negotiated back end, because anybody that's about that life in entertainment will throw that out and be like, yo, but let's talk about the back end. Let's talk about the back end, what I have. The fact that Drew did not say that, the fact that Drew did not throw that out makes me think that Drew is a liar, and that she didn't get back in. So like Kenya said, what Step Up did over 400 million had to do with how much money got put in your pocket. You're talking all these things about almost $1 million house, which by the way, if y'all want to catch the tea, it's supposed to be $30,000. She has $30,000 in tax liens that she owes on the house. So come on, girl, get those residuals up and pay off that $30,000 lien. I'm going to actually do a little bit of research, but it's like, Drew, it's okay. You are probably doing better than me. You and Ralph, you are an actress. Your acting career is definitely more than mine is, because at mine, where am I yet? Don't worry, hold that thought. I will be someplace maybe soon. Hold on, wait. But the whole point about that is, Drew, again, stop throwing stones when you live in a glass house, or even if you do throw stones in a glass house, because I do that sometimes, right? Be ready for the rocks to fly back. You can't cry about somebody throwing a rock at your glass house when you're the one you're throwing canyons and then mad that somebody comes back with a rocket launcher. Okay? Shut up. Listen, if Kenya's broke and all the shit Kenya's done, and let's not act like Kenya was not that girl 10 years ago and was not involved in a lot of movies. I think Troy or whatever was one of the highest grossing films made by black people, made with a black producer, director, this, that, and the third. Please don't act like you're set it up money. Right? If Kenya's broke, by your own logic, you're broke too, Drew. And judging by what we hear on the thing, whatever. Kenya also posted on her Instagram that she's bought multiple houses at 26, all by cash. That's one thing I can say. Everybody is saying that they hope Mark takes Kenya's money and Mark's going to buy. That's one thing I say about Kenya some more. She was done with her heart. I wish she had picked a better person to have a baby with. But you know, it is what it is. But one thing you can say about Kenya, she is not at all stupid about her money. She's not stupid about her money at all. So kudos, and I'm glad she put Kenya in her place. Next up, they moved to Cynthia Bailey's wedding. They're talking about, Cynthia, I can't believe you did all this stuff in a pandemic, this and that, blah, 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 blah. Listen, it is what it is. Let's talk real shit, right? The pandemic has broken up quite a few relationships. It has brought people together, but it's broken up quite a few relationships. And I do believe that love is something that is enduring and lasts forever, but it is something that is also very situational, right? Two people can love each other, follow me on this, very, very deeply, but a tragedy falls, a family member dies, a child, God forbid, dies, right? And it changes the situation, where all of a sudden the person that you loved with all your heart cannot meet the situation, cannot match the situation, cannot be your rock and your comfort when you need them most, and it ends in divorce. Lots of people, sad as it is, that lose children too soon, as if there's any good time to lose a child, but when they lose children very, very early, it actually ends in divorce. So can we stop acting like love is this all, like, stop talking fairy tales, right? Love is not an all enduring spectrum. Cynthia, as a Pisces understands that. She understands the mutability, the mutable nature of emotions. She rides those emotional waves. She has, as a Pisces, I think they have the intelligence of a Gemini, but also that emotional intelligence of a Cancer. They're kind of like, and so on. She understands that. She understands that right now her and Mike are in a good place, but with the pandemic, a lot of changes might come. And that wedding might be what actually binds them together. Because it's a difference from growing apart and separating from your boyfriend, girlfriend in a pandemic than from your new wife. You're more likely to stay in, right? Mike is a Leo. He's had instances in the past. I'm not saying he's doing it now, but she understands her man and she understood, no, I need to do this. And no shade. Do what you need to do to keep the relationship together. It's not the fact that Mike doesn't love her any less. It's just the fact that emotionally intelligent people understand the ebbs and flows of relationships. And when your relationship's on a high, you want to ride that. So I don't fault Cynthia. Cynthia also got married to Peter, which was a publicly humiliating place. We saw that. I was so embarrassed for her. They didn't have money. They showed all that. Cynthia did what needed to be done. Her sister and her mom hit the marriage certificate. They didn't like Peter. Peter turned out to be a mess. Cynthia's marriage to Peter was a disaster. It was publicly humiliating. It was stressful. I don't think she enjoyed her marriage. I mean, maybe she did. But that wedding, I'm sure she could. She would want to do it the right way with somebody that was her financial equal, somebody that understood her, and somebody now she's like, yo, I feel like I went through all this storm and you're my gift, and I want to share this gift with the world. Was Cynthia being selfish? Yes. But you guys, let's scale it back. Nobody died in her marriage, right? I'm sorry, nobody died, at least from she knows, or got sick from corona from her wedding, right? Atlanta had lax laws the whole time. I think Atlanta, did they ever close down? If it closed down for a month, y'all from Atlanta, let me know. So Atlanta didn't happen with this and that, right? There was also the case that everybody that got invited to Cynthia's wedding was an adult. If at any time you felt uncomfortable with going, do what Leon did. Leon loved Cynthia to death, and he sent her a voice recording because he's like, no, I'm not going to a wedding in the middle of the pandemic. So stop acting like Cynthia forced. Now, was it selfish? Yes. Was she obsessed with the date? Absolutely. Was there other things that Cynthia could do? I don't know. I do know that Cynthia followed the letter of the law. I know that nobody got sick. And like Kandi said, if I was obsessed with the date like Cynthia, I would have made it happen. So listen, she took her opportunity. She saw her chance. She did what was right for her. Anybody that didn't want to come, didn't want to. Was it selfish? Yes. Was it irresponsible? Yes. Was it worthy of all the hate people were giving online? I don't think so, especially when we are looking at now, nothing happened. It's different from having that type of anger when you're like, anything could happen. I hope to God nobody gets sick. But once you see that nothing happened, nothing happened. Let it go. Like, it's over with. Why are y'all still mad about this shit? And why are we talking about what could have happened? Okay, well, guess what? Driving down the street, I could have hit a cat. I didn't. How long y'all want me to be sorry? Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think about Cynthia's wedding. Let's do this thing. This is one thing I know about a Taurus. Once you have a Taurus and you're in the heart of a Taurus, you can stay there forever and ever and ever. Now, what Tauruses usually do is when somebody crosses them, they completely cut them out of their lives. Why do they do that? Because if you are still around them, they will eventually let you in. They are creatures of habit. And once you connect with them emotionally, they never forget that. So that's why they cut you out your life. Had this been real life, Kandi would have dismissed Porsha and never had to see her again, because there's this artificial world of filming or someone that hurt her a lot that she had a lot of love for. Let's be real. Kandi really, really likes Porsha. Maybe she even loves her, right? I'm not saying like as a girlfriend, but like as a sister. Like she really, really, they connected emotionally. Because this filming keeps Porsha around Kandi, she can't do that whole dismissive thing. And Porsha is so emotionally intelligent and she knows how to always get back in Kandi's good graces. What's the way she did this? Always be like, oh, Kandi, hi. Always supporting her, and then going to Don Juan and supporting him. That's one thing about Tauruses. They look at their friends and their family as part of them. So a way to get into a Taurus's heart is to go sideways, get back in a Taurus's heart. If they don't care about you, this isn't going to work. It's to go sideways at the people they love and show the people that they love that you're trying to be there for them, and that'll melt their heart. That's what Porsha did, right? Now it's interesting. It's interesting now the way they're like, oh, we've gotten to a new point. because, you know, if we have a problem with each other, instead of talking about it, we just text each other and tell her. It's interesting that this thing, and this is where Kandi stopped. Porsha screws over Kandi over and over and over. And each time, Kandi is there for her again and again and gives her another chance. I know a lot of you are like, oh, Kandi's afraid of Porsha's fans. I don't think it's that. I think that Kandi really likes Porsha. Porsha is really good at manipulating Kandi with her emotions. And I think she always gives her another chance, and Porsha always makes a fool of her. Just like when she got on live and threw Kandi under the bus, and Kenya more, but also she threw Kandi under the bus. That what was going on, right? So Marlo makes a point with saying, like, after the dungeon, like, Kandi and Porsha got really, really tight. And it almost made me feel like Kandi has some dirt on Porsha. And you know Kandi does, because that's the one thing. Remember when I said that Kandi's kink? Y'all are like, oh, Kandi doesn't look like she can bust it open. Kandi looks like, I think Erica De Niro says, Kandi gives like Patrick Starfish, like teas in the bed. I don't think follow Erica De Niro TV, Sweet Face De Niro. Y'all should follow her on YouTube, Rodney the Voice. They are so funny. Also, this girl, Contrary Canary. She's really funny too. Why am I giving a shout out? Let me get back to me. Y'all follow me if you're listening to this. Follow all of them and support too, but make sure y'all follow me and then hop, skip, and jump to their channels, okay? Somebody told me about Vivian Entertainment too. I just started watching her stuff. She's actually really good. But listen, let's focus on my channel. Y'all like, follow, subscribe. Help me. I want to do this full time. Listen, it's early. I'm only going to get better. If you like the content now, you're going to love the content later. Follow me, like, comment, subscribe, and also share this. Share this with people. Share this with people that love Kenya. Share it with people that hate Kenya. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. Share it, share it, share it. Listen, I want to get these views up. I am going to fold this full time. I'm standing in the sun, but y'all already heard me talk about this. Let me get back to the subject. So Mark was like, yo, they seemed like they were being really, really close. Like, you got some dirt. Like I said, I think that Kandi's thing, her kink is controlling. Her kink is domination. Her kink is watching people go past their limits and doing things that they would only do in the dungeon. I think that's her kink. So I don't think she is like lickety split or chocolate busting it open. I really think that she enjoys seeing people get completely out of their element and going crazy. And that sense of control that is her kink, it makes her forget that she's the one that got them to go crazy. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's why, yeah, Kandi does know what happened with Porsha. Kandi does have dirt on Porsha. But Porsha also knows that Kandi really can't let it out, because you can't be advertising this judgment-free zone. What happens in the dungeon stays in the dungeon when you're letting tapes go of somebody and what they did in the dungeon. So they both kind of have each other by the, they both kind of have each other by that. Now, interesting enough, Kandi turning a shade tree and a money tree. She's now going to do virtual dungeons, right? This sound like Pornhub to you? Because I don't know if I want to see like everybody losing their inhibitions on Zoom, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, but maybe there are a lot of people that's into that. Listen, but this is what makes Kandi a moneymaker. She gets an idea, she throws it against the wall. If it sticks, she runs with it. And if she doesn't, I admire Kandi, because even now at my age, I'm just getting the courage to stand in my truth and be on YouTube with you guys and talk. So again, the one thing that everybody criticizes Kandi for is her strength. Kandi will take her idea. She doesn't care what anybody thinks. If she thinks it's a good idea, she'll run with it. And if it works, she'll make magic. And if it doesn't, she'll be like, all right, that's cool. I tried, I fell, and move on. I think that's a beautiful thing about Kandi. I'm trying to have some of that energy. If you try and fail, it's okay. So again, I'm giving this criticism for, it's not for me, but you know what? It might be for other people too. And it might be for other people. So kudos to Kandi for finding a money-making thing. She said she made a lot of money with Kandi Coated Nights, Then they talk about Porsha, Marlo, Kenya. Marlo keeps trying to engage Porsha. Porsha is paying Marlo dust. Now follow me on this. The reason why Porsha is paying Marlo dust is because I really think that Porsha, when Nene got moved out the way, was like, this is now my show, and it's going to become Porsha and Friends, right? Maybe they're rebranding. They want to take it in a younger energy where Porsha can be like, she'll be the Nene, and everybody else will be like, Drew will be new Porsha, Latoya will be new Kandi, new Kenya. They haven't gotten a new Kandi yet. So maybe Phelan was supposed to be the new Kandi. I don't know. Anyway, get all these new people in there, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing. I think that Porsha, I don't think it was going to work, but she thought that she was not going to give Kenya any camera time. And if nobody engaged with Kenya, then Kenya would lose her spot. Not because she couldn't be drama, just because nobody was engaging her. Just even in that South Carolina trip, nobody was engaging with her. This was Porsha's plan to push her off the show. Now, follow me on this. Porsha is the producer's darling. I really think producers also are mad, if you believe Nikki Star's TV's theory, which I do, that Kenya got back by Bravo execs, not by the producers. And the producers have been looking for another reason to fire her. What better reason for firing her? For saying, listen, when Kenya's in the scene, the cast won't engage with her. When Kenya's in the scene, it's hard to film. Kenya is making production impossible. As a matter of fact, the reason why our season was so stupid was not because we lack imagination, not because we have tired tropes, not because we think sex sells. No, it's because Kenya was boring, and that's why we had to kick her off. I think this was a plan. I think Porsha was in on it. I think Porsha's working neck and neck with those producers. I think that was going on. And that's why Porsha got so mad when she saw Marlo. That's why she got so mad when she saw Marlo. Because Marlo read the writing on the wall. She was like, listen, me and Porsha never really got along. Nene was the one that brought us together. You're bringing in Snooch and Mia. You're bringing in Drew. I don't really have a place to fit in. But you know what? And Marlo is a survivor. Marlo is a survivor. And maybe Shamia, I don't know what Shamia's situation is, but I heard she said she didn't want to be a peach holder because of her husband. I just think her husband just doesn't want her engaging in the bullshit. But if she got a peach just by doing what she needs to do, by being Porsha's ally, her husband would allow it. But Marlo's a survivor. Let's not forget that. Marlo grew up in a rough and tumble. She somehow bagged herself, if you want to believe the gossip, a billionaire. She found a way to survive in life and thrive. And now she's even raising her nephews and even thriving even more, right? Marlo has a family to support. And not even that, Marlo has her own lane. Marlo sees how emotionally fickle Porsha is. Marlo sees the way Porsha demands absolute fealty and loyalty from everyone around her, but she does not care about returning the favor to everyone. She's a fickle creature. And Marlo was like, do I want to side with Porsha and get Kenya and everybody else, and it becomes a Porsha show, and now I am dependent on Porsha, where all truth told, Porsha doesn't like Marlo. Nene was the one that brought them together, but they were always at each other's head. Marlo, being the go-getter and the survivor she is, was like, I'm not depending on anyone to eat. I'll eat what I kill myself, right? You ever hear that old saying, right? Never bite the hand that feeds you. And somebody was like, and when somebody treats you bad, oh, don't bite the hand that feeds you. And people will say, listen, I'll always bite the hand that feeds me if they're using that hand to hurt me, because I can eat and kill. I can hunt and kill my own food. I don't need you to feed me, all right? I need you to treat me with respect. I need you to treat you with courtesy. I think she saw the writing on the wall, and she was like, Porsha is too fickle, and I'm not going to make this allegiance because it's not going to last for me. So she sided with Kenya. She looked at the thing, and she said, listen, two Aquarius sisters, we see each other, right? We see each other. Marlo saw that Kenya is always on some, you play nice with me, I'll play nice with you. Kenya is always on that bullshit. The minute you decide to play nice with Kenya, right? The minute you play dead with Kenya, Kenya stops messing with you. She does that with everybody. And she even starts loosening up and laughing. She looked at Porsha and how volatile she is and how many times Porsha has lied and screwed other people. I don't care if you love Porsha, and I don't care if you feel like Porsha had a reason for doing it. The facts are the facts. Porsha is led by her emotions. Kenya is led by her intellect. She took it, she looked, and she said, you know what? I'm going to go over to Porsha's. I'm going to go over to Kenya's side. She made a strategic decision. I do think it was the right one. We'll see how it pans out. So now Porsha doesn't want to give Marlo a moment, because now she's like, okay, you crossed me. Not only am I mad that you crossed me and cost me my chance to get Kenya off the show, and the producers are mad that Marlo cost her a chance to get Kenya off the show, but you crossed me, and I need to make an example. Porsha operates like a crime lord sometimes, right? Y'all think she's stupid, but she's emotionally savvy. emotionally, I need to make a example out of you, Marlo, because if people start thinking that they can cross me, everybody's going to cross me. So let me show everybody what happens to someone that doesn't go according to plan. I'm going to ice you out, and I'm going to try to get you off the show, and I'm not going to get you any time. And guess what? Shamia or Drew is going to come back with that peach that you could have had if you had kissed the rings. Porsha is not stupid. That is what she's doing. She's running it like some organized crime. And I don't blame her. Listen, do what you need to do to protect your piece of the world. But y'all, this is commentary and this is my opinion of what's going on, right? Porsha did what I would have done. I would have done it differently. But you need to, when you have a goal, you need to, whatever. Anyway. And also, Porsha knew from that time the way that Kandi is, the way she's like, hey, Kandi girl, and they're smacking hands. She knows that she can emotionally get into Kandi's cinder. And Kandi and Kenya's friendship, for whatever it is, I did hear rumblings that the reason why Kenya won't go against Kandi is because Kandi actually was one of the people that helped her get back on the show. So she knows, like, okay, let me not cross you. But I do know that Porsha knows enough about Kandi and Kenya's relationship to know that if she does ice Kenya out, Kandi's not going to jump into defend her. Kandi's not going to be there. And she tested the waters in South Carolina. And, I mean, listen, maybe there was shit going on behind the scenes, but Kandi did exactly what Porsha thought she was going to do. So Marlo looked at that and was like, let me jump on Kenya's train because Kenya needs a friend. Just like I was Nene's friend, I can be Kenya's friend. And maybe if I play my cards right, I can get an actual peach. But she knew that Porsha had too many people online. It was too fickle to ever really give her a peach, right? Yeah, they asked Kenya, what's your opinion of Kandi and Porsha's relationship? You know, Kenya, if it's true that Kandi helped her get back on the show, it's like she's a heart of gold. And I just hope she watches herself. And I agree. I hope she does watch herself. She does have a heart of gold. She is, has an emotional core that if you can tap into that, that connection doesn't go anywhere. You know, it is what it is. Then they start arguing about like what happened, you know, in Strippergate, you know, with Bolo, you know the whole thing about Latoya kissing Drew. Drew tries to go around it. You know, they start arguing back and forth about what was heard. You know, Kandi's like, oh no, of course, you know, I already went through this. To tell you the truth, when it got to the whole thing about Strippergate, that's when it just cut off and you didn't hear anything. So listen, I guess it's all going to come out in the third part, or maybe they're not really going to touch on it because, again, Porsha, Black Lives Matter, she's trying to rehab her image. Plus, I don't care what they'll say, Porsha is the producer's darling. I know the network execs might like Porsha, but they like Kenya too. It's an ensemble. One person is not bigger than everybody, but the producers seem to think that is true. So there you go. Y'all, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if there's any shows that you're really into. Share this with people, y'all. I am trying to grow. Thank you so much for your continued support. You know, like, turn on notifications. You know the deal. Anyway, let me let y'all go. I'm waiting for the speak on it with Kandi and Marlo to actually put everything in coordination, all right? I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.